Hello again, Fever fans. Welcome inside Cambridge Fieldhouse as the Fever coming away with a 79-74 overtime win in their first of 3 exhibition games. Also the front end of a back-to-back. I'm Scott Agness of FieldhouseFiles.com. The Fever didn't get off to a good start in this one, falling behind 24-13, but they trailed by 6 with 90 seconds left. From there, got to the free throw line, made all 6 of their foul shots, and that ultimately became a huge thing for this team, finishing 27 of 28 at the free throw line in a game they just shot 30% from the field. And ordinarily, that's not going to get you some wins, but in this one, it was that free throw shooting and then defense. That was the primary focus in this one. After 5 practices, it was just 1 week ago that this team was gathered around and having a dinner and setting the tone for the season. And now 1 week later, they've already gotten 1 preseason game behind them. Again, 79-74, the overtime win.
I liked our aggressiveness. I liked the fact that we picked up, pretty much 94 feet, that they didn't get anything easy. I mean, it's not often that you come out with a win and game where you shoot 30% from the floor. And I felt like our defense really held, gave us an opportunity to get back in the game, gave us an opportunity to finish the game. We will evaluate certain lineups and different things that we did. But most importantly, I felt like we competed at a really high level on that end of the floor.
I don't think anybody in this room thought we'd go into OT against the DC Mystics. So I think that collectively and over time, you want to be around people that want to win. And I think right here, this group that we have, we want to win. Whether we're on the court, whether I'm on the court or not, I want to see others win. But I think we all have that willingness to we got to figure it out. And I think that's the best part about our group though this year. Your Sophies, your Lexies, but even the young ones that you haven't seen, your Bree Halls, KK, we all have that sense of we're not gonna lose if we got a chance to fix it. So I think this is our mindset as a group right now.
This game had a little bit of everything. 2 hostile act reviews, 2 coaches challenges, one by each team, and then overtime, yes, for a preseason game. And the Fever wanted to get this show on the road. They had a plane to catch for their next game, but ultimately played 8 mostly in the first half, stretched it out to 11. But one player we did not see was Caitlyn Clark.
Just a little tightness. I'll go through all our warm-ups and everything, and then they'll decide if I'm good to go or not. It'll be the medical team.
She had a lot of progress in the last 24 hours, and that was our goal. Our goal was to see how she progresses every day. So we'll see what happens and see how she feels after the workouts that she went through today. And then hopefully she'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Nursing a left leg injury, nothing serious. We saw her jumping up and down on the court, having fun with teammates, leading communication in many of the huddles. It is just something they're monitoring and being extra careful with. She was one of the few players to play in every single game last season, only missed 1 or 2 minutes per game, so they want to reduce her minutes workload, same with Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, and be more productive within those minutes. They also want to play Mitchell and Clark off ball a little bit more to allow them to be a little bit more fresh when they are out on the court and for the duration that they normally are. But all expectations is she'll be good to go coming up Sunday at Iowa, which will be a special showcase for her back at her alma mater, a place where the tickets sold out in 42 minutes. And probably the biggest concern into this one is the players that played high minutes in this one, and also the fact that there's no air conditioning in Carver Hawkeye Arena. That's something Caitlyn warned us about earlier this week. Now, several players who pops. Number 1, Sophie Cunningham, a veteran in this league now, getting a fresh start in a new situation here in Indiana after spending the first part of her career over in Phoenix. But boy, is she a spark plug off the bench. But more than that, 21 points, 8 rebounds, a little sassy in her as well.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. She plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
Sophie's that wild card, man. Her and Lexi together. I think their energy, when I talk about effort defensively and just figuring it out and having a willingness, that's Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. They do an unbelievable job of just being present, being where they need to be, taking the necessary play that kind of stuff you can't teach, and I think that's how you win games. And I think not just them, if we can all just do that early and consistently, we have a good chance to be more like Sophie.
She played a lot of minutes with Lexi Hull, who's more defensive-minded, really got after it there out on the floor and made things difficult. It seemed like she was flying around all over and making things difficult. And again, the number one emphasis in all this was first-team chemistry, but then two was to work on the defensive end. They applied full-court pressure a lot of times, and that required a lot of defensive and overall communication, and that's something that really stood out to me above all else. I don't care about the result. I don't care about a player scored a lot or didn't score at all. To me, it was the big picture in mind. Look, they have 2 weeks until the start of the regular season, and exactly 2 weeks against the Chicago Sky. What jumped out to me is all those moments when the cameras go to commercial, and it's an important reason why you need to be present, why you need to be there. Because, for example, the first time out, Caitlyn Clark was kind of ripping in to the teammates and coaching. So even though she was unable to play and they held her out for a precautionary reason, she was in sweats, she was very much involved. And it was not just her. It was the assistant coaches. It was DeWanna Bonner down there, Kelsey Mitchell. How about Bonner stepping up and telling Sykes of the Mystics, no, we're not playing that game. We're not having that, after she decked Sophie Cunningham, which led to a technical foul.
I'm not surprised. Actually, DB was my bet when I got drafted out to Phoenix. And so I know she's not a fighter, but she's not scared to get with it a little bit. And kind of random thrown to the ground. Maybe I need to hit the weight room. That was not a good look. But she had my back, and I think that's what it's all about, right? I think we have a huge target on our backs. I don't think that's a secret. And so making sure that our locker room's like this, and that'll naturally flow onto the court. And I think you guys saw that today.
Those are things you don't expect to see necessarily so early into the season when you're less than a weekend of practice time. But that was encouraging, and I think it shows where they are at this point and what they want to become. That was the big question I asked Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell after the game, and why are they so in tune with one another already? And it was very interesting.
It's what it's about, right? I think when you really do have really, really good people, and you guys all have a common goal that you're trying to get to, that no one takes offense to anything, right? I think a couple of those huddles like, hey, so if you got to get better on defense there, and I was like, yeah, dude, you're right. And so it's constantly communicating, and it's not being defensive. Everyone's just trying to help. And I think you have a really good group of people. You have a great group of coaches. And again, I just think it's a great combo that if you're willing to have a growth mindset, good things are going to happen here in Indiana.
Even like with Kayla being out today, her PG leadership was vital. Down the stretch when we were losing, we heard her voice, we heard how in tune that she was. And so I think over the course of time, it'll be kind of like you don't have to even think about the communication part. But I think right now for us to get through these games, communication is heavy. Even from the ones that's not playing or what you still have itself, it's important.
They embrace the veteran leadership that we brought in, the experience that we brought in. They want the challenge, right? They want to meet the moment. And these veteran players understand, and they recognize and respect the competitive fire from our young players. And so I think overwhelmingly, there's just a strong respect for one another, and they're all competitors. I mean, every single player that's in our locker room is a competitor. They want to be the best. They want to sacrifice whatever needs to sacrifice so that we can be the best team that we can be.
Once the game got into overtime, it was all Indiana fever after that, outscoring the Mystics 8-3. And I should note, both teams going deep into their bench and letting reserves finish this one. So giving them valuable minutes, but also timely minutes. In crucial moments of the game, that's a good moment to see how they handle the adversity, the pressure, the spotlight there when the game's on the line. And generally, in terms of the record, meaningless preseason game.
It's a new coaching staff, you have a new system, and so it's going to take a little bit of time. This is the first time that we actually got up and down like that. And so I'm not worried about it. I think for us, it's more on the defensive end. I think offensively, I think everyone knows that, we're a powerhouse there, but for me, it's defensively. How can we be a powerhouse on both ends?
Now they have a couple more left, but this was just their only one here on their home floor, something that gave this team a sense of a preview of what's to come with the energy. Sophie Cunningham, for one, was one that really liked to rile up the crowd. We know Caitlyn will do that. Lexi will, certainly. And I think DeWanna Bonner will as well. We saw her get the crowd excited there into overtime. Now the Fever hurried out of this one. They had to get to the airport, a charter flight due bound west for Iowa City for the special showcase coming up Sunday afternoon for Caitlyn Clark. They're back at her alma mater. That game will tip off at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. They're even doing a huge pregame show, WNBA Countdown, leading into that, and I will be there for full coverage for you here and on fieldhousefiles.com. So I'll talk to you then. For fieldhousefiles.com, I'm Scott Agness.